sorry that I've not been able to get a kind of week by week, kind of week one straight after our son's delivery. Things have been pretty hectic and I'm absolutely exhausted. So I did a little announcement. Sebastian is what we decided to call our son, Sebastian, and he was born on the 23rd of March at 6:24 a.m. And I will be doing a labour and delivery story. I've actually done snippets of film throughout the labour, and the labour, I originally we calculated 30, but it was actually 42 hours long. So right through that whole time I've done snippets of video, which I'm going to put together, and I'm going to do a labour and delivery story, because the labour was not the natural labour that I wanted in the end. I did end up getting induced, and I did end up having an epidural, and actually the induction was beyond my choice at that point, because my waters had actually gone, but it was 24 hours basically from the point that my waters had gone. 24 hours had passed and I hadn't progressed, so I was at risk of infection, so my labour needed to be sped up and I needed to get the baby out. So I did end up having a very medical labour, and it was fine, but it was just exhausting. And yeah, I'll go on and talk a bit more about that when I come to doing it. But so today what I'm going to talk about is I'm going to talk about me first, and the first 2 weeks. It's actually 2 weeks today that Sebastian was born, and I will talk a bit more first about me, first about Sebastian and his progress, and first of all then I'll talk about myself. So Sebastian was born 6 pounds 7 ounces. He was exactly small like we imagined him to be. Although he was 6 pounds 7, he's just very, very tiny, very, very short. He's got very, very little legs, thin little legs, and he came out absolutely perfect. And I guess I was just in so much shock because he was just more perfect than I could have ever imagined him to look. And he lost a little bit of weight in the first week. They usually tend to lose a bit of weight, and he went down to 6 pounds 3 ounces, and then has gained since to then 6 pounds 9, and then yesterday he was weighed at 6 pounds 11. So he's gaining weight at a good rate, and we're not worried about any kind of weight issues or anything like that. His sleep pattern is pretty crazy. He is every sort of 2 hours in the middle of the night. He has slept a bit longer than that. There's been a couple of nights where he slept like 5 hours, 4 hours I think maximum, but usually he's waking up at these sort of periods in the night. So but sometimes I put him in bed with me and we kind of co-sleep, and he might sleep a little bit longer. He's one of these babies that dreams, and so he dreams really loudly, and is always sometimes he'll like kind of cry or whine or something like that, and then he wakes us up and we think there's something wrong, or he's upset and he's awake, but he isn't. He's asleep. So currently he's sleeping in our room. He's sleeping in the Moses basket, and I think as he gets older, I don't really want to put him in the cot yet. We may move the cot into our room, but there's not much room in our room, so we might get like a co-sleeper or something like that, and kind of work our way. We'll work our way around that nearer the time, but at the moment he fits soundly in the Moses basket and he's settled in there absolutely fine, so that's great. In the day I was exclusively breastfeeding, and I am going to do another story about my breastfeeding story, because that's been really, really difficult. The difficulty I had was not the latching on. I have explained in previous videos that I had planned from the hospital that I was delivering in to go to a midwife-led unit and recover there, and I did just that, and it was there that I established breastfeeding. They actually latched him on, because when I first got him and he first latched on straight after he was born, it was absolutely excruciating. He latched onto my nipple and just sucked like crazy, and it really, really hurt. It wasn't a proper latch. And I thought, oh my god, if this is breastfeeding, then I do not want to breastfeed. It was awful. And the hospital, the postnatal care wasn't brilliant, and I knew that, but I had to stay there for 24 hours. So luckily I was able to actually express some colostrum and then syringe the colostrum into his mouth, and he had loads of that. They also diagnosed him with a tongue tie, and that was dealt with at the hospital. Dealt with that. They snipped it there and then, which is fantastic. So that was sorted.
Yes, science.
Oh, my phone. Sorry, I was interrupted by my phone. So yeah, I was able. He was able to get the tongue tie fixed at the hospital, and we got all that sorted out there and then. 24 hours later, we went to the midwife-led unit, and that was where we kind of really established breastfeeding. I was incredibly engorged. I actually have a really good supply. I have like an oversupply. My milk, I have tons of it, but unfortunately it means that I'm very uncomfortable. Whenever I go to feed him, he gets sprayed in the face. It's very difficult to breastfeed in public at the moment. Obviously I'm only week 2, so my milk hasn't established itself yet. My breastfeeding hasn't fully established itself yet, and I just felt terrible sorry for him because I was struggling to feed in public. I was exposing myself because I was spraying everywhere, I was leaking. It was just incredibly uncomfortable and just really, really awful, and more than anything I was absolutely exhausted. There was only so much my husband can do. I know he changed nappies and things and then passed the baby to me, but I just needed some time when, you know, I needed to sleep right through. And I'd been really battling the whole kind of, I wasn't enjoying breastfeeding for some reason. It was making me feel very, very low. It was making me feel very, very depressed. I will also do another video to explain a bit more about my mood and things since having Sebastian. It hasn't been the fairy tale that I would have hoped it to have been. It's actually been an incredibly sad, low, lonely time for me, despite all the support I have. But I just needed a bit of a break, so I have decided, and it took me 2 weeks of asking so many people. I have decided to combination feed, so I feed him formula at points throughout the day and just before, a couple of feeds before bed, and then I will breastfeed him throughout the night, or kind of as a comfort thing. So if he's whiny or if he's upset or if I need to soothe him, then that's when I breastfeed him. And also in the night it is just easier as well sometimes. I'm noticing as well that he's been getting a bit sick on my milk, so I'm hoping there's nothing wrong with it and it's not kind of going bad or whatever. I'm really not sure. It was a really difficult decision because breastfeeding is so personal. You feel like you're the only person that you're providing the best for your child, and when you're actually able to breastfeed, because he was latching on fine by this point. When you're able to breastfeed and you've got such a good supply, there's so many people out there who have no milk and they really struggled and would give anything to breastfeed. But mine was the opposite. It was like I was able to breastfeed, but it was making me, there was something about it, and I don't know what it is, but something about it was making me incredibly low and making me angry with him or terrified that he was going to wake up and need to be fed. Because it was all on me. It was just like I felt like my body has belonged to him for 9 months and my body still belongs to him, and that I really struggled with. But I am kind of getting on really well with the combination feeding. He's had no nipple confusion so far. He's able to latch onto the breast as well as take a bottle. The bottles I'm using are the Tommy Tippy bottles. He also sometimes will take a dummy, but it depends really. Because he's very sucky, he likes to just suck a lot of things. He'll suck on our fingers for hours on end. So, and also we've been using Infracold, and the formula that we're using at the moment is SMA Gold. Some people have said use a comfort milk because that might get him to sleep better, but I just feel like these are kind of cop-outs to try and get him to sleep better, because he sleeps just the same on the formula as he does on breast milk. So. And formula is a faff, like it really is a faff. You have to remember everything's got to be perfectly sterile. You have to remember to take it all out with you. You need to find places where you can prepare it. Whereas breast milk, it's ready, it's there, it's, and I'm really trying to keep my milk, I want to keep feeding him throughout the day, and I really want to, you know, have a bit of a supply for him, because maybe as time goes on I might go back to exclusively breastfeeding once I've settled into motherhood. But nevertheless, he's getting on quite well. He's gaining the weight, and we've been doing quite well with our cloth nappies as well. We part-time cloth at the moment. I'm not putting too much pressure on myself to cloth him, but he, you know, we're doing okay with that. And what else? So that's it really. With everyone loves Sebastian so much. He's a real kind of character. He looks, we still don't know exactly who he looks like. There's bits, some people think he looks like me, some people think he looks like my husband. I think he looks like all my husband and none of me. It's really strange when I look at him. I think, did you come out of me? Like it's really strange. So yeah, as for me, how I'm getting on, as you can see, I don't even have the energy to get off the sofa and film in a normal, like my normal setting. I've not gotten on so well. I've had really bad postpartum depression, literally from the second he was born. So as soon as he was born, that's when it started. And I don't know if it was the fact that the labour, I had so many drugs and things during labour, and then once the baby's born, they kind of scoot you off into having a shower. And I'd had stitches, was bleeding a lot, and I was sick as a dog. I was just constantly being sick as soon as he was born. And I remember standing in the shower, and it's probably one of my worst memories, because I thought I was being sick as well as bleeding.
Yes, science!
I was being sick as well as bleeding, and it was all just insane. And I couldn't believe what had just happened. I couldn't believe that my son was finally here. But I was terrified of going back in that room. I just did not want to go. I didn't want to see him. I just wanted to stay in the shower for ages. I just sobbed my heart out. It was like someone had ripped my soul out. That's kind of how it felt. And then there was the shock of that feeling, the shock that I didn't feel that emotion, and I had no idea why. Like I put it down to hormones, I guess. And then, you know, you're just overwhelmed with tiredness, because you think that someone's going to let you rest after a labour like that, but there's no rest. You know, you're just straight in it, and, you know, looking after him. I struggled with feeding. And then I went to the midwife-led unit, and things got a bit better. They really supported me there. They really helped me kind of get my head around the whole idea of breastfeeding, but I was still incredibly sad. And then when day 4 arrived and my milk came in, I don't think I've ever felt as low. I've had some low times in my life. I have never felt as bad as that day. I felt horrendous. Just like the worst depression and the worst sadness that I can ever describe. And it lasted for a good few days. And then coming home as well has been very difficult. I'm just so tired. He's waking up every 2 hours, and I'm just so. My husband is helping out. He's been an absolute rock. He goes back to work tomorrow, so I'm very frightened of that. But hopefully, you know, it won't be as scary as I think. I've got no energy to do anything, because I'm just so tired, and every time he sleeps I think I must sleep myself. It's taken a lot of energy for me to film this video, because I just think I should be sleeping now. I've got no energy to cook, to clean, to do everything I do is around the baby and then sleep, and that's it. And I'm not enjoying it at the moment, and I really hope that things improve, but things are not fun. And you know, I've been reassured that this is completely normal, and that this is just normal feelings. And I love him so much, but I just don't know him yet. He still to me is just like he was in my belly, just kind of living off me, but not giving me back much. He's just so small and fragile that I'm quite frightened of him at this stage. So I really hope that eases off. I know that the fact that I've reduced my breastfeeding and combination feeding has definitely made me feel happier. Whether that's just some hormonal thing, I don't know. So you know, I'm definitely going to do some follow-up videos on that. What else? Yeah, and everything, I've not been able to eat as well, so eating's been really difficult because I don't know if it's nerves. Yeah, it just hasn't been this kind of baby bliss that I would have really hoped. And I'm, you know, there's been so much preparation, and I think that's the thing. It's like a real anticlimax. You prepare so much. You know, I filmed all my updates. I bought loads of stuff. You know, we got the nursery. Everything is perfect. It's all sorted, and it's just been not the, you know, the kind of romantic idea that I would have hoped. You know, everything's changed. Everything really has changed, and for me, the biggest thing has been the sleep. I could handle him if I could sleep more, but you know, it's because I can't, because he's awake so much, and I'm so exhausted from him being awake in the night. That's where my problems. You know, I'm trying to catch up on the sleep when he sleeps, and I think that's where the issues are. Because I know I'd probably cope better if I could just sleep in the night, but you know, everyone says it gets easier. Everyone I've spoken to says it gets easier, and I'm just really hoping that it does. So yeah, but that's me for that's the last 2 weeks. It's been, everyone says as well, I don't want this to put anyone off. It's the first 2 weeks are the hardest, and I think next week's going to be a challenge because my husband's not here, so we'll see how that goes. But I'm going to try my best to do a video next week. So the videos I have planned are the labour and delivery story, and I'm also going to do newborn must-haves and things. So I'm going to do, yeah, anything that's like really come in handy since he's been a newborn. And I'm also going to do a video on what I used and didn't use in my hospital bag, because there were some things I didn't use and some things I surprised myself that came in that were absolutely essential. So yeah, those are the videos that I've got planned, and then of course I'm going to do weekly updates. But you please bear with me, because at the moment I am just tired, but the channel is definitely gonna, you know, I'm gonna keep it going. I just need to settle into motherhood a little bit. Sorry about the distracting things on my phone. So that's about it, and yeah, I guess I've left some pictures of Sebastian on the introducing Sebastian video, I think the last video, so check that video out if you want to see some photos. I'll put some photos on, and I'll also do my 2 weeks postpartum bump as well, because my bump's gone down quite a lot, so I'll show you that now. Bye! Okay, so I'm still wearing my maternity leggings, just because they fold over and they're really comfortable, but they're, as you can see, quite baggy now. This is my bump, or it's kind of more like a little pouch, so hopefully that will go down a bit more, but it's pretty sort of solid now, so I think this is just kind of like excess. But yeah, so I'm quite impressed